2 years after the cemetery revelation, David got a letter from prison. Victoria begged to see the girls. Dr. Mitchell advised waiting. They need to be older, she said. They deserve the power to decide what forgiveness looks like. The night before the 3rd anniversary of their fake deaths, Emma asked, "Dad, do you think Mom ever really loved us? Or were we just money?" He took a breath. "I think she loved you the way she knew how," he answered. "But she let greed become more important than that love. That was her choice. It was never about you." Sophie, always blunt, added, "At least now we know you never left us. That's what matters." In that moment, David realized his real victory wasn't Victoria in prison. It was his daughters knowing they were wanted. They were worth fighting for. Their father never stopped looking. 3 years later, as he watched them walk across a stage to collect top-of-class awards, he remembered Victoria's words. "David is too emotional to question anything." She'd been right about one thing. He was emotional. But she confused emotion with weakness. It wasn't weakness. It was fuel. If you've ever been betrayed, lied to, or underestimated and wondered if you could ever come back from it, remember the story. Sometimes the very thing they think makes you weak is what makes you absolutely unstoppable. Like this, if it gave you chills, share it with someone who needs a reminder that justice can win. And subscribe for more stories where intelligence, patience, and real love turn the worst betrayals into the most powerful victories. The cry sliced through the restaurant like a knife. "They're hitting my mother!" Every conversation stopped. Forks froze halfway to mouths. Glasses hovered in midair. The low hum of business talk in Bella Vista, Chicago's most discreet power dinner spot died in an instant. All eyes turned to the front door. An 8-year-old boy stood there, chest heaving, small hands shaking. His t-shirt was torn, smeared with blood. His face was streaked with tears, but his eyes were fierce, scanning the room like he was searching for someone in particular. He found him in the back corner. No one interrupted Vincent's dinner. No one even walked past his table without being invited, except this boy. He ran straight to Vincent, grabbed his sleeve with both hands and blurted, "Please, sir, they said they'll kill her if she doesn't pay. I didn't know where else to go." The entire restaurant held its breath. Vincent's security moved instantly, hands twitching toward their jackets. But Vincent lifted his hand a fraction of an inch. They stopped. He looked down at the boy, studied him, the shaking hands, the trembling lip, the eyes wide, desperate, and yet not afraid of him. Somewhere deep, under decades of cold calculations and bloody decisions, something old and painful moved. "What's your name, kid?" Vincent asked, voice surprisingly gentle. "Jerome, sir. Jerome Williams. My mom's Donna Williams. She works at the laundromat on Oak Street. Some men came today which said they run the neighborhood now. They want money she doesn't have. They said." His voice broke. Vincent knew the laundromat. Small, honest business. Widows, single moms, night shift workers. The kind of place old rules used to protect. Something flickered in Vincent's eyes. "Tony," he murmured. His right-hand man appeared at his shoulder as if he'd been conjured. "Get the car. Call Dr. Martinez. Tell him he might have a patient tonight." Tony nodded and slipped away. Vincent turned back to Jerome. "You were brave to come here," he said. "But tell me, how did you know who I am?" Jerome sniffed, wiping his nose on his ruined shirt. "Mama said, if something really bad ever happened and the police didn't listen, we should find Mr. Romano. She said you're the only man in this city who still keeps his word." The words landed like a punch. A working mother had sent her son not to the cops, not to some charity, but to him, to the most dangerous man in Chicago. Because somewhere, under all the stories, she remembered his code. And that pissed him off more than anything. Not at her, at the men who made that necessary, at the men who thought they owned fear. If this kind of story hits you where power meets a real sense of justice, hit like so more people see it. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next chapter. And tell me in the comments, have you ever wished the wrong person would step in to do the right thing? All right, let's go to Oak Street. The laundromat looked like a war zone. Washing machines overturned. Door glass shattered. Soap, water, and crushed flower petals covered the floor like macabre confetti. On a makeshift cot, Donna Williams lay with a bandage on her forehead. Dr. Martinez pulled off his gloves. "Concussion, stitches, bruised rib," he said. "She'll live. She needs rest." Vincent nodded, eyes cool but burning inside. This wasn't mindless vandalism. This was a message, a show. He replayed Jerome's halting story in his mind. They said they were the Iron Wolves now, that everyone pays protection. Mama said we already pay taxes and she runs an honest business. The man with the scar laughed. Said people like us should be grateful to work in their neighborhood. Jerome's small voice had shaken when he got to the worst part. You do not touch children. You do not terrorize working mothers. He'd watched men die for crossing that line. Now it was happening again. But this time he had the power to do more than grieve. Donna blinked her eyes open. Jerome, she whispered. The boy rushed to her side. I'm here, Mama. Her gaze drifted to the doorway, to Vincent. A flash of recognition, embarrassment, then gratitude crossed her face. Romano, she murmured. He shouldn't have bothered you. We'll figure something out. Donna, Vincent said quietly, stepping closer. The fact that you've worked yourself half to death to keep this place going makes you my business. Your strength is exactly what people like this city should protect, not destroy. His phone buzzed. Tony, we got names, Tony said in a low voice. Scar guy is Jake Malone, 28. Rap sheet, assault, extortion. Gang calls themselves the Iron Wolves. 22 members. Been stomping on everybody's territory. No respect for anyone. And the redhead, Vincent asked? Cassie Morgan, former stripper. Calls herself an urban reality influencer. Films their shakedowns, posts educational content online. 50,000 followers who think she's edgy. These idiots weren't just cruel. They were broadcasting it, wearing their crimes like trophies. I need another call, Vincent said, walking outside. He dialed a number he hadn't used in years. After 3 rings. Detective Williams. Sarah. It's Vincent Romano. A pause. Detective Sarah Williams had spent a decade trying to put his people in cuffs. Over time, they'd developed a strange truce. She enforced the law. He kept certain lines from being crossed. This must be serious if you're using this number, she said. Iron Wolves, Vincent said. You know them? Sarah sighed. Too well. 7 reports of extortion in 2 months. Nobody will testify. Too scared. And every time we build a file, the evidence disappears. They've got someone inside, Detective Mark Morrison. He's Jake's cousin. Internal affairs is sniffing around, but nothing sticks. There it was, the missing piece. They didn't just feel untouchable, they had protection. I'll send everything we scrape from his socials. And Sarah Donna Williams. Oak Street Laundromat. She's under my protection. Make sure she's under yours too. Another pause. Donna Williams is my sister, Vincent. He stopped. You're what? Jerome tried the police first, Sarah said quietly. Desk sergeant told him, these things are complicated. He called me crying. By the time I got free, he'd already run halfway across the city to find the only man his mother told him still had his word. Vincent looked back through the shattered doorway. At Donna. At Jerome arranging crushed flowers into a neat little pile on the floor, trying to bring order to their chaos. Fate had a sick sense of humor. Sarah, he said, I'll bring you the match. You light the fire. And when this is over, your family never sees these animals again. You have my word, she said. Just this once, Vincent. We're on the same side. Jake Malone woke up the next morning to a digital nightmare. Instagram account suspended. TikTok flagged for violations, videos removed. His DMs full of threats, insults, and screenshots of his own face. 3 million views. In 12 hours. His phone rang. Cassie. Jake, what did you do? She shrieked. My channel is gone. Sponsors dropped me. People posted my address. I can't even leave my building. He was about to answer when, bang, 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 shopping. Chicago PD, open up. Jake froze, peered through the peephole. Detective Sarah Williams stood outside with 4 officers and a camera crew behind them. Cassie, the cops are here, he hissed. He didn't finish. The door burst open. Jake Malone, Sarah said, voice icy smooth. You're under arrest for extortion, aggravated assault, and criminal threats. You have the right to remain silent. But that was just the public show. The real damage was quieter. By 2 p.m., every account tied to them was frozen. IRS flags, federal holds, routine audits that weren't routine at all. When people like Vincent decide your finances need attention, The government suddenly remembers your name. In the interrogation room, Jake tried to look cocky. It didn't last. Sarah dropped a stack of pages and a tablet on the table. "Recognize her?" she asked, sliding over a photo. Donna, in a hospital bed, Jerome holding her hand. "That woman is my sister," Sarah said. "That boy is my nephew. So you can imagine how much I enjoy being the one to read your charges." Jake swallowed. "This is harassment. You can't stop." She hit play on the tablet. Video after video. Jake threatening shop owners, taking envelopes of cash, bragging about educating people who didn't know their place. Cassie laughing behind the camera. She slid over another paper. "The IRS froze your accounts this morning. Your lawyer options are limited. Meanwhile, your crew is already flipping. Cassie is staring at 15 charges and no influencer brand. Miguel's signing cooperation papers as we speak. You built an empire on fear, Jake. You forgot that fear disappears the second somebody bigger stands up." He realized then he'd never been the biggest. He'd just never pissed off the wrong people. Until now. That evening, Donna's laundromat smelled like cleaning spray and fresh paint instead of blood and dust. New glass, new machines, new reinforced door, all installed by contractors who weren't asking for payment. Jerome sat at a little table, drawing on a fresh sheet of paper. Vincent watched him for a moment. Jerome finished and walked over, holding out the page shyly. In clumsy crayon lines, he'd drawn his mother, standing tall among flowers growing through cracks in the floor. Vincent took it. Something in his chest tightened. Not the familiar burn of rage. Something softer, more dangerous. "I'll keep it," he said, sliding it into his jacket over his heart. "Always." His phone buzzed. "Sarah." "It's done," she said. "Jake's charged. Cassie's charged. Miguel's talking. The Iron Wolves are finished." "And your sister?" Vincent asked. "Safe." "Jerome's already telling the other kids at school they don't have to be afraid anymore." She paused. "Vincent, whatever you are, whatever you've done, today you were on the right side. Don't get used to it," he said, but there was a ghost of a smile in his voice. The evening news rolled. Business boomed. News rolled. Business. Donna's single shop had become 3 locations, employing other single mothers who needed a shot. Jerome, now more confident, stood at a school assembly, handing out certificates for an anti-bullying campaign he'd helped start. In the back of the room, Vincent watched quietly. No suit this time. Just a simple jacket. Jerome spotted him, grinned, and ran over after the ceremony. "Romano, I made a new drawing," he said, pulling out another picture. 3 figures, a woman, a boy, a man in a suit, a big red heart around them. "Thank you for teaching me that being strong isn't about hurting people," Jerome said. "It's about protecting them." Vincent cleared his throat. But he could make sure fewer Donnas and Jeromes suffered like she did. That was a different kind of revenge, the kind Maria would have approved of. Jake would spend 15 years in federal prison, his own arrogance looping on TV as a how to ruin your life in 30 seconds example. Sometimes justice doesn't show up in a uniform. Sometimes it walks in wearing an expensive suit and a bloody past, and chooses, for once, to point all that power in the right direction. If this story sparks something in you, anger, hope, that itch for real justice, hit like so it reaches more people. Share it with someone who's ever felt powerless. Tell me in the comments what part hit you hardest. The kid's courage, the mother's strength, or the unexpected code of the bad guy. And if you're done with stories where the cruel win, unchallenged, subscribe and turn on notifications. Because sometimes all it takes is one brave child, finding exactly the right dangerous man, willing to do the right thing.